The Witcher Season 3 is set to start filming in March 2022. So, Redanian Intelligence here is reporting writing began for Season 3 in July 2021 and was almost complete in December. And now it's time for the next step. We can reveal that the pre-production for The Witcher Season 3 will finally begin in the coming weeks this January. Filming for Season 3 is planned to begin in early March. Keep in mind that filming dates always change, so we'll see when they truly begin. The original report said that filming would last February till July, so if it shifted 1 month, then the wrap would now be August 2022. But all that is harder to say because of obviously COVID and all the rest of it. When will Season 3 be released? Assuming all goes well and production indeed wraps in August, we still have 6 to 7 months of post-production, which means that it would probably be ready for release around spring 2023. So, we're talking about maybe an 18-month wait for this next season, compared to 2 years that it was between Season 1 and Season 2. And so that's definitely a huge improvement, a big step in the right direction, because we do not want to be waiting 2 years between every single television season of the show, especially if they're planning 7 seasons. I mean, you're talking about the show going on for 14 years, and that becomes very, very difficult to deal with when you have characters such as Ciri, who, for example, is already looking older than she probably should at this point in time. So yeah, it's a big deal if every 2 years we get released. So 18 months makes it a little bit better. So instead of it going on for say 14 years, we're only going to maybe be about 10 years or something. But even then, that still sounds like a lot of time. Really what we want to be hearing is we want to hear that there's going to be a season every year. That's what you would hope for. And hopefully with sort of COVID and the pandemic and all that sort of stuff, hopefully as that stuff kind of dies down, hopefully that means they can then ramp up production for future seasons. Hopefully that means they can get into the swing of things and they can start pushing out maybe a season a year, because I think it's really kind of important that they do that, because you look at Freya Allan, who plays Ciri, and she's currently 20 years old, right? And so if we're talking, say, right, we've got another 5 seasons of this show to go, right? We're talking, if that's 2 years of time, she's going to be 30 by the end of it, right? Now, I know that it's not following the books exactly, and obviously they always age characters up, especially children. I mean, Game of Thrones was notorious for this. They did it with characters such as Bran and Arya and Robb and, you know, all the Stark boys. They aged all them up. They aged lots of characters up, because having really young child actors doesn't always work. I mean, it does work sometimes, but it makes things easier if you age people up a bit, especially for some of the arcs that Ciri goes through in the books. It makes sense. But if we're going by the books just for a second, in the books, the fall of Sintra, which is when her grandmother dies and Nilfgaard invade, Ciri in the books is only 11 years old, okay? Compared to Freya Allan, when that season released, she would have been 18, okay? So that's quite a big gap there. That's quite a thing. And so they aged her up a little bit. You can understand why. By the time she meets Geralt, then at the end of season 1, if you compare that to the book, she was about 12 years old. And then once we go through all of the books in the series and the series actually ends, Ciri is only actually 16 years old. So these books basically take place over 5 years. And by the end of Lady of the Lake, Ciri is 16 years old. Freya Allan, as I'm saying already, she is 20 years old now that season 2 is just released. And so there are a lot of people who have a lot of concerns with maybe her being too high in age. And so for now, that's fine. I think she looks the part. She's kind of doing all right in the part. She's working well with the material she's been given. I think that's all fine. But she's going to keep aging. And if we're talking another 5 seasons and you're releasing one every 2 years, that's 10 years from now. She'll be 30. You can't. I don't think when she's 30, she's going to look the part. And there's a lot of people who have this worry about her aging too much, because she is going to be a central focus of this series. In the later books, Ciri is the main character. Geralt's not. And so there is a huge worry here that maybe they take too long. And I mean, aside from just her aging, does anyone really want to wait 2 years in between every season of a show? Like, maybe if it's only a few seasons of a show, that okay, you deal with that. But when you're talking about a show that's going on for 7 seasons, do you really want to wait 2 years in between each season? People are going to get fed up. I genuinely think people are going to get fed up. They're going to lose interest. No one wants to be watching the same show for 14 years, skipping, like, just to follow this one story. It doesn't really seem, like, I don't think it really seems all that great. So hopefully, I mean, at absolute worst, they go back to this sort of 18-month period, which it looks like they're going to be doing, hopefully, for season 3 coming out. Even then, I would like to see it get knocked down to a year. a yearly December release. That would be great. Anyway, maybe there's nothing to worry about. Maybe everything will be fine. We'll see. I would just hope that maybe they start on their writing for season 4 ASAP. They start getting into the production. They start doing it and getting ready to start season 4 as soon as they can, so that there is no wait, so that they go straight from project to project. I know the big issue maybe here is, for example, Henry Cavill. He's got a million projects ongoing, so sometimes there might be some conflicts with filming and all the rest of it. And so that's something, as great as Henry is, and as great as he is, and the best part of the show and all the rest of it, as great as he is, there's still this issue with this big major Hollywood star, and he is the main part of the show. And so there's this issue where his schedule and his status, as good as it is and as good as it is for the show, is also going to be a detriment to the show in other ways, such as the release schedule, filming schedules, all the rest of it. Anyway, make sure to leave a like on the video, hit subscribe if you want to stay up to date with more Witcher news and information.